Testing, testing, 1, 2. Uh, am I freezing up or is it working? Because I get a yellow arrow message here on the live streaming part of YouTube. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna try and listen, see if it's working here on the mobile phone too, because my computer is very much overloaded with doing this here right now. Ay, ay, ay. Awesome. So audio is good? Perfect. So, yeah, today is a happy day because I've got a new album out on Psy Records. And I think Boris, aka Jogging House from Psy Record, is also in the chat, and I made him a moderator too. And this is the album. And let me just switch to OBS for a second. Perfect. And let's go to the other camera, because maybe there you can even see it better. Because we got two cameras up here. So this is Gestures. And this is an album that I recorded last year, actually. It took some time to get it out. And it's all based on a rather minimal set of instruments, and it captures the mood that I had at the time. Because I recorded this at my parents' home, and my father had been dead for 4 or 5 months, so there was an emptiness in that space. And I tried to capture that using dictaphones and tape loops and the piano that was still there and not being played much because my mother didn't want to play anymore. And this record has a certain emptiness about it. And I just want to put it on now so I can also read what you guys are writing. And then I will, yeah, while it's playing, I'll get to answering your questions. And later, I want to talk a bit about how I recorded it and which instruments I used and what techniques I applied. So, yeah, I'm just going to put it on now. Let me know if the volume is good when it comes on. I hope the audio and video is okay on your side. Here it sounds pretty good. And the album has extreme panning. So, OBS. Let's move it so I can see the chat and OBS. do hope that the video quality will get less laggy. It was great when I started out, or when I tried it this afternoon, but then I don't know what happened. Like 2004, really? Okay. Lo-fi video. Okay. Good to have you back. Thomas Boris Pochubai, aka Jogging House, runs the side records. The high-pitched sound, I think that's the OP1. Lo-fi effects on the video. I'm not gonna try now. The instruments on this album are all the same. It's the Seat Lombard Deerhorn organ, these two dictaphones with endless tape loops, and a piano that stood in my parents' home. An OP1 and the bustled thyme for space and reverb. Thank you, Semblance Music. Steve DaCosta, no iOS apps. I'm on Android and I'm really not into the app world that much. I wish it would be looking good. Let me check in my internet settings what's happening. It's all supposed to be fine. Amherst, yeah, I'm actually planning to visit Wouter van Veldhoven in January when I go to Dennis Verschoor at the Waveform Research Center. X Games Net, the album will be on Spotify in 2 or 3 weeks. I will do more Seat Lombard. I've just started combining it with the test equipment, and I realized it just loves. They love each other. Paul Chabot, Cherry Blossom Party. For booking, you can just hit me up at heinbach101@gmail.com. Send me an email. Thomas O'Malley. Yeah, this is very much a mid-range album, and I love what the mastering guy and the vinyl process added to that to make it very, how can you say, readable, even though it's very hazy. Snoopy Over the Hills. I'd love to come to Zurich, but never any booking request I've got get never a follow-up. So, but it's gonna happen at some time. Luca Marceno. What are architectural urbex videos? I've never heard about that. Oh, that feedback claviceps. That's the oscillators in the Deerhorn organ. Project Null, I'd love to play France. That's definitely on my list. But I do all my own booking, and I'm kind of like I get one good gig, and then I can play like all the other gigs around that. So if there's a request, I'll usually book a show around that. Geompon. Oh, about flag converters? I don't have an idea. Actually, like the way that Bandcamp encodes to flag, that does sound pretty good. But on Mac, I've got no real idea. Steve Da Costa. I've never bought at Thomann, like the big tape stuff. I've usually bought it at a French place, actually. Audio Technique or something. They had everything. They did a lot of stuff. Yeah, Colin, see you in Coventry. That's gonna be fun. WY, getting into Buchla. I'd kinda love to, but the expense is so hard. It's so hard, so much, but it really intrigues me. I just looked at a Skylab 2 days ago, which is the nice small setup that I think is perfect. But still, it's way out of my league right now. Thank you, John. There will be more stories of loss in the course of this evening. Yeah, Sam's music. That was really fast. You can get some cassettes still at shows. I have a few. And at Patch Point in Berlin, they have got a few tapes still. H Point, my tour dates. I just post them on Instagram. I have to put them up in bands in town, so they appear on my website, which kind of like sucks. So they appear on Spotify, sometimes they appear on Bandcamp. I'm gonna make a list. Ben Adler, I might make this savable if it actually looks okay, or else I'll make a private link and then just send me an email, and then I'll send it to you. Gary Morrison, sure, I'd love to come to Ireland. Every time I went to Ireland, I loved it there. I never played there, but Ireland is beautiful. WY, yeah, sell my car. I don't have a car, and the last car I had was worth 800 euros or something. Omri Cohn, to Frankfurt? Well, maybe there could be a Psy label party or something. Boris? Probably maybe next year. I'd love, as Sam Chittenden, I'd love to come back to Colorado. I had a great time there. It was a lot of fun. And now I realized I was supposed to wear my merch t-shirt, because I've got merch actually, and I forgot to put the t-shirt on. I'll pimp this in another video. Mike Dubs, Münster. I did theater there some time ago. Colin Bradley. Yes, I've got dates for doing the destruction loops live. I can't check my emails now because my computer would totally freeze up. But yeah, I will post them soon. Hi, Karl Ramberg from Stockholm. Hi, Nelson from Austin, Texas. Hey, user173, thank you very much. Yeah, Thanos, it is a listening party. Hans Roman, I prepare the structure ahead by choosing which sounds I'm gonna take, by choosing the 2 different tape loops. and how they're gonna play with them. Then I practice the patch, and then I basically improvise it. No, improvise on what I practiced. So there's like 2 hours before I record. That organ is probably the OP1. Let me see which track we're at. Drums Addict, thank you very much. Rob Hoyt, I'd love to come back to Colorado and play shows, but I still need to get that visa. Good thing is I've got a university gig that's working on a gig over in Wisconsin, and maybe they'll be able to get me the visa that I need to play. How old yours, Ergo Mocraft 32? Oh, that's definitely a Minecraft video. That's definitely something that I want to do, working with the blocks. I mean, I need someone to guide me, but Nelson Kugel, wow, you're the first person to ever give me money in a chat. I only saw this function in a, what's it called? Gaming videos. Thank you very much for that. Let me just stop right here. Okay, switch to the other camera. So, before we listen to this track, so during the stay, during the holidays that we had there in my parents' home, I heard the news that my aunt died. She had cancer, and it went really quickly. She went like in 6 months. We saw her at the funeral of my father, and then in 6 months she was gone too. And her last name is HAINBACH, because HAINBACH is the maiden name of my mother. So I heard that, and I had to put it to music, and I made this in memory of her, and I wanted to put it out immediately, but it didn't feel right. So now I'm happy that it's out in this album, and as you can see when you look at the track list, all the other titles are gestures 1, 2, 3, 4, but this is a quiet adieu. Antoni Jachner, you can buy Seal Lombard at Patchpoint in Berlin. The Tumblers, Ben and Gear's video on vinyl. I actually saw that, and I looked around a bit, and it was quite easy to find a study by the University of Glasgow and Oslo that said that streaming music is the worst and has nothing on vinyl, actually. But in the end, the best way to experience music probably is to play or just sing together with people in a park or something, if you want to go 100% without the poison and what's it called? The power, the carbon footprint? Yeah, that's the word. Thank you, Derek G. That's awesome to hear. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Project Null. The one thing that's sad, I still haven't visited her grave because it's in Bavaria, but I'm gonna do that soon in the, what's it called? October, when there's autumn holiday. Wow. Thank you, Rob Hoyt. That's beautiful to hear, and thank you for the $10. Thank you very much. Hexanoise, thank you very much. I will do. Anti-Puran, sing at half speed is always an option. Snoopy over the hill. Oh, I'm very sorry for that. That's sad to hear. Steve Da Costa. I actually curated a series of concerts in Berlin. They were called Basic Electricity. I did that together with Richard Scott and Navros. And it was a lot of fun, but also a whole lot of work. Musik konkret. Liebe Grüße zurück nach Rheinhessen. I broadcast that the cassettes are sold out, but you can get them or some at Patch Point in Berlin, and they also ship them. Nicolas Saber, because I kinda like to have an audience all over the world, and if I'm in Germany and do sometimes talks or workshop here, I do speak in German. Thank you, Paul, very much. Extra to make more sample. Oh, I know oscilloscope music, but what album? Please send me a link. I'd love to see what it is. Thank you very much for the 5 Canadian. Ah, Marek. Yeah, it's on my to-do list, the looper. The to-do list is very long. So, that was side A. And, okay, before we go to side B, I don't know if everybody, like, I want to talk a bit about this instrument. Um, so, can you see? Let me see if you can see, so I can get an OBS. I hope you can see it. I don't know if the video quality got any better. I hope so. So this is the Deerhorn organ, and if you want to know more about it, I've made a video about the Deerhorn organ that you can just find by looking for Deerhorn organ and HAINBACH. And while playing with it, because this is basically a theremin, so you've got three different oscillators that have two different pitches, and you go in, it goes, and then the other pitch is activated when you go away. So you've always got a response to your call, which is rather lovely, and this sounds very much like early electronic music. But it also has 3 audio inputs for stereo in. And what I discovered is that I love using this as a gestural mixer. So I plugged the 2 tape loops and sometimes the OP1 in here and basically played the mix wire movements. And this requires such rehearsals, and it requires you to be really precise, like a theremin player, else the audio will just fly all over the the stereo field. Excuse me. So this is a magical way to play a mix and combine the elements that you chose before, because the sound will fly from one side to the stereo spectrum to the other, which makes for this extreme stereo panning that you hear all over this record. This can be a bit detrimental sometimes, especially when you want to use these tracks like in a film score or in a theater play, because you want to plan your movements there precisely. And if you've got these wide movements, it can be a bit overwhelming, but I think it's all part of the acoustic body of Fiat Lombardi instruments. And that's why I love exploring this technique on this album with this. But let me tell you, my back was very stiff after playing this like this, and then moving only like this and this. So it's really difficult, but I love the results, because making music without touching anything is it was a new experience for me. So let's switch and go to side 2. At music, my favorite musician, Francis Baby, is right now my absolute favorite musician because he was both a scholar and a fantastic musician. Callum, exhibitions is something that I'm just working on more and I want to do more. In the UK, not yet. A mosquito in my mic? Oh. Annie Shazer, any advice on building an audience? Be open to communicate with people. I think that's the best advice that I can ever give. Like, communicate, engage yourself in different groups. I always started out like from forums and got to know people. I tried to meet them all in real life and go to meetings, organize meetings. And from there on, the audience starts in a very beautiful grassroots way. And that's how I did it, basically, to grow an audience. Oh, the Tascam 424, that's a great one. You're gonna have a good sound with that Transplutonischer Arbeitskreis, which is a very, very nice name. I'm sorry if I missed any of your comments before. I don't want to scroll up because my computer is freezing up if I do that. So if you got a question that you wanted answered and I missed, please do ask again. Lance Emil, thank you very much. Mo, what's the most beautiful sound there? That tape, quarter-inch tape at half speed, is glorious. And when there's even no sound recorded on that and you've got a gap which is silence but not silence, is really beautiful. But in the end, the best sound is contrast. So I love contrasts. Dot, 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 dot. Thank you. That's a nice hint to Helsinki. Klop, klop, klop. I have no idea what sicko mode is, but I hope it's interesting. Ah, Anuto, nice to hear you again. I remember you. I was wondering where you went at that night. Yeah, Lighthouse Festival was great. Woman, the vinyl is at 33.3, so you can only make it faster. Or record to the tape and slow it even down. Annie, in Wisconsin, I hopefully in April next year, the university there, we're doing I'm in talks with the university there for a festival that they're organizing on improvisational music. Drums addict. Oh, I do sing. You can hear me sing from time to time in my videos, and I play piano, I play bass, I play a bit of guitar. Yeah. Danielle, I think Boris might be the one to ask for that. Jogging House. Thomas O'Malley. Yes, I've been doing music full time for a decade, or for 13 years. Mostly theater scoring, and now also, yeah, HAINBACH has been very good to me right now, and all the people that are on Patreon and watch my videos, and yeah, that's been very nice to have that also as a source of income. Justin, cello bass. I think any reel-to-reel that you can get cheaply and works is good. I had a friend who I played with in Denver, and he had just a cheap Sony one, and that worked perfectly. But now he wants to do sound on sound, and now he needs a better machine, of course. But just the cheapest one you can get is pretty good. Sicko Mode is a rap song. Clear Gray Sky. I have to listen to that. Come. Good to hear that you can relax to my videos. Minda Bayer. Oh, microtonal scales. I do tune my Seat Lombardo instruments a lot by ear, and I've experimented with different scales by tuning them, and it's always super interesting, but in the end I always go back to my ear, and my ears can be going to very precise tunings, but I also like to modulates, everything goes a bit off. Bruno Wiebelt, I just got the 1022 Wobulator, which sounds amazing from Boulinquier. Got it. It's actually sitting here. Robogorop, that would be lovely. Ringo WY, because I just love the way he drums. It's such a refreshing, cool drum sound that I always enjoyed. Thank you, Andy, very much. Yes, Simon, it's live. Can we play the record backwards? My turntable only goes one way, but regarding drinks, I'm game. I'm drinking Riesling from, yes, Rheinhessen. I think we have Rheinhessen in the stream already. Oh, G. Barakaldi, Bridget D. James. Oh, that was Saw was the album that really changed a lot for me. Selected Ambient Works 2. An album that I've heard thousands of times, and I love it. Clear Gray Sky. This is actually a travel music setup that this was recorded on. I always have new travel music setups, and I change up my travel setups and always try to use new gear. The OP1 is oftentimes in there, though I try to get away from it because it's gotten forbiddingly expensive. Apokalyptischer Temple. I started making music, I had piano lessons as a kid, and then I got into game music, like really early game music, like Leisure Suit Larry and Eye of the Beholder and stuff like that, and I recorded games from my Amiga onto tape and gave them my piano teacher to transcribe. And then I learned to play these game soundtracks. And from then on, it developed, and I had a band when I was 15, and when I was the first time on stage with that band, I decided this is what I'm gonna do with my life, and have been trying to do everything from that. So, punk rock phase, favorite harsh goth punk album. I grew up like on Iron Maiden and Nirvana. So punk, my favorite punk album, I think it must have been, it's probably not the best punk album, but it was Gotta Get Away from the Offspring. Which is, but I was 16 at that point, and that was really good. Yvonne C, yeah, my is what's it called? My SM7 is so old now that the whole part rotted away. Aspolook awareness. Oh, that's lovely to hear. Oh, thank you, Marco Preuss, for the €5. A remix contest? I don't know about contest, but I was thinking I've got a video that I made on a piece of test equipment, and I could just put up all the sounds of that, all the stems. I could put up the stems, and then everybody could do their thing with it. And I think it could be interesting. Yeah, I think I might do that. Local Technique Pro Tracker, yes. Musical obsession. I didn't study music. I had piano lessons, and I taught myself a lot, like scales and harmony, and then I studied musicology at university, where I had courses in traditional instrumentation. To someone that hasn't but wants to start music, that's a difficult question. Do it with other people. Get in a room, start a band. Starting a band is beautiful. Straight up techno album. The next, no, the next vinyl EP that's coming out will be very much in that direction, and it's gonna be all test equipment. Good to have you back, the lamb. Luca Marino, I haven't played there yet. It's something I still have to do, and yeah, but they closed. They made it like so you have to take a tour there. Right when I moved to Berlin. Thomas O'Malley, I actually started with Cubase 3.6 with Cool Edit 95, and then moved on to Cubase 3.6 in 1998, and then onto Nuendo, which I loved for the sound quality, and then Ableton Live, and I stayed with Ableton Live once they fixed their audio engine. It was actually good. Apocalypse, are there any genres you really don't like? I really don't like this German Volksmusik, which is fake folk music. It's more Schlager, but it's really fake. It has nothing to do with folk music. It's just fakeness. Test equipment sound generator? No, I haven't. Because there's so much to find. I actually want to do a video menu UREC because it's changed quite a lot. I just need to find the time to play with them more. Yes, I know Zoe Blade. Not personally. I can Aminda Bahai, I can side read, but I've gotten really slow. I've gotten really, really slow. And when I wrote for orchestra, I realized, oh, how slow I've gotten. It's because I don't need it for what I do right now. Thank you for the favorite microphone. Sennheiser MD21, Shure SM7B, and Gefeld 691 or 2 with whatever capsule that's cool. Trying to make it in the avant-garde experimental genre. Oh, it gets too fast now. Listen is always the best tip. So listen and work with other people's. I haven't Zoya. I'm gonna do a lot of Zoya videos. Snoopy over the hills. The audio glitch. I think that's intentional. On the left side, that clickety clack. Yeah, that's intentional. That's on the track. Oh, the audio started lagging. Oh, my mic is lagging a bit. Sorry to hear. Sorry. Zoboye band collaborating is I'm kind of like only collaborating with people now in person, so, and I'm very much full with that. So right now I haven't got any further collaborations planned right now. Steve Da Costa, my laptop is a very old 2014 MacBook Pro. The name of this song, that should be Gestures 7. Per Abdrab, the music that I make is right for me when I feel I'm not pushing anything. When I'm just doing it and not like overthinking it, and it happens. But when I incorporate too many ideas that are not me, and I notice that, I stop. Modular field. Hello Köln. Sound is fixed again. Perfect. Oh. User 173. I actually made one video game soundtrack. It's called Brain Connect, and I don't think anyone ever could listen to the whole music because that game is fiendishly hard. You can get it like on the App Store. It's fun, but it's fiendishly hard. Nicolas Sarah, YouTube music is my only job, yes, and YouTube comes in now, but I write for theater. That's my main job. I compose music for theater. Proletaire, I always start with a space, like with a landscape or a surreal landscape. So that's the first thing, and then I think of what happens in there, what movements happen. Yawning Hyena, yeah, this is my first live stream. I hope it doesn't show because I've only played on live streams, but I've never talked on them. Ah, look, mom, no computer. Hi, Sam. Gestures 8 is coming right now up. Uh, Mike Dubs, you can buy it on Bandcamp. I think the link is in the description to this chat. Callum, I think education in anything always helps. So you don't need it, but it's a tool you can use. In the end, it's all just tools. So knowledge is a great tool to learn how to make music and to make it more useful, I think. Okay. Gary wants how to tape loop. I probably isn't what's it called? Main stage, doesn't that have a good piano in there? Or just use a Nord keyboard? They've got nice pianos. Apocalypse Templar, I didn't really do, and I've got no time to build, but also no space because I have to do it on the kitchen table, and then the kids come along, and that's not good. So, but I'm gonna build myself an old workspace, a new workspace in a place that we rent. Simon, 2 quadroverbs. Why only one? Have you tried quadroverb into quadraverb? And also one for wide space and one for short space. Drums Addict, I have composed for film. A film is coming out. It's a documentary on Stephen Wiltshire, an artist from London. The game is called Brain Connect. Brain Connect. It should be still on the App Store. Mike Dubs, people will sample and rip. You can't change that. Rob Glob Glob, least favorite album. Oh, there's so... I don't even know, there's too many good albums to now. And the algorithms, like, they give us very good albums. So it's hard to find albums that I really don't like. Zorboye Band, Residents is super nice. That's fun. I love the whole style. I love the idea. I love the smartness behind the songs. If there's one natural sound you would like to capture, what would that be? Hui. That... Right. So this is over. So let me stop that. I'll have to think about that more. It's not easy because it would be something that I don't want to hear captured probably. Let me think on that. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Steve Acosta, Clark Technique DN34. No, I haven't. I haven't been to the Brigands Opera Festival, Nicholas. Have you ever listened to Lubomir Melnik? No, I haven't. I probably need... I should have made a link drop where all these links could get in. Any plan on doing experimental dance music with Beats album at some point? Yes, I do with the test equipment. There's an EP coming, definitely. And it's coming out on Miscellaneous in October. Already pushing the next release. Favorite food? Probably something that my mother makes. Maybe her Käsespätzle. It's some noodle with cheese and onions. It's really good. It's really, really soul food. The SPX 90. Yeah. That's a cool one. That's a super cool one. I see that all the old sound guys have those and they love it. Das Block. Of course, I know Popol Vuh. Yes, I'm very much into the whole krautrock, psychedelic rock scene. I love that. Thank you, Justin. Hi, Vino. Derek G, I have this abrasive sound in my live shows also, and it's more to the end that I use it. But I actually have the unit that I bought in the States, and I'm using it now in my upcoming live shows next week, starting next week. So there will be more of a harshness there. But of course, this was rather special because I was just playing two function generators and that mystical box. WY, I think I'm building my own dream synthesizers all the time. All the modulars that I'm building, they are my dream instruments. And when I look at them, what I'm adding is there are analog oscillators, there are wavetable oscillators, and there are, what's it called? Vacuum tube filters and vacuum tube processors. And there are lots of VCAs, lots of modulation, and low pass gates. So what I used to be, I know Charlemagne in Palestine, love it. Clear Gray Sky, I haven't heard the new 2 album. I listened to I think was it the first one that came out, and I loved that, but I haven't listened to Tool since. Mm. Hello to Calcutta back. What remained from a first modular setup? I think all-in-one boxes are okay, like the what's it called, Make Noise Shared System, because it's an instrument already, and you don't have to struggle so much to build your own instruments. Yeah. All Antithesis. I wanted to go to. I was basically they booked me for or they wanted to book me for the Seattle Festival of Modular, but it didn't happen because of visa. Visa is still the thing I have to work out. Which kind of movies do you prefer scoring? I love anything. Documentaries are. I love documentaries. More experimental stuff. And but I also would love to score, of course, a sci-fi movie and a horror movie. And I've done a horror movie soundtrack for the YouTube audio library. And yeah, I love seeing where that is all used. That's really interesting. Start the record over again? Really? Shall I start the record over? Shall we do one more round? Okay, but then let's move to the shot where I flip over the record. Hmm. Rodo 1899. I do use VSTs. Madrona Labs Alto was something that I used, and the new Massive is actually pretty good. It's like something that I use mostly like when I'm on a train or when I'm traveling, and then I make presets, and then I use them in the studio. But it's not something that I use excessively, because if there's all these things with all these, you can't see them, and I can't move the laptop because it will, like, anyway, there's all these things that are tactile, and I always reach for those first. You're all great. I was kind of unsure about going into this, but this is this is lovely. And if you have any more questions, please ask. I'm ready to answer anything. I'll try to keep up, and if I miss it, please just ask again. So, if you want to see, okay, technical stuff, but oops, these are my two favorite cassette dictaphones. These are full cassette, and this is the Sony TCM 450 and the Sony TCM 400. These are definitely the best. and nicest sounding that you can get, and I rely on these a lot. So, yeah, you can find them like for $50. That's where I bought the last one of this, $50, and that's a good price because these are like the high end of the high end regarding to dictaphones. Thank you, Paul. Thanks so much. Oh, um, Lego of a Man. I would love to go back to Indonesia and work more with the gamelan orchestras there. I would love to write for gamelan, and yeah, that would be something that I would love. I would love to go to Mongolia for the instruments that are there and for the singing. But basically, I want to go all over the world because there's so much fantastic instruments and music all over the world, and that's also planned for like, that's like one of my Patreon goals was to go all over the world, and it's just starting now that I'm able to do that. Uh, Martin Heidinger, probably Stahlplatt. That's a good one, but maybe Boris knows more about that. Drums Addict, I've got a sister. She's a journalist when she's older, but not many more people into music. Hi, Amulets. Nice to see you. Aminda Bayer. Sounding like Brian Eno is never bad. Piano, Claviceps piano is very good. Anything, or guitar is very, acoustic guitar is very good. Anything basically where you've got a big reverb space, because pitching down the space makes it so much nicer and bigger. Yeah, amulets. So many people that I know followed your tape loop tutorial, and it's one of the things that comes up very often in communications. And everybody is like, "How do you make your tape loops?" And I say, "I buy them." Because I really love making tape loops on the big on quarter-inch tape, but I can't deal with the 8-inch 1/8-inch tape on cassettes really much. Everybody is like, you can buy them? Yes, but of course it's fun to make them. But I what's it called? I had a tough time with that. Janeftek, that's beautiful to hear. Concepts. Matthias Ziegler, I've heard that before. I don't know why. I don't know where. Amulets, I would love to come. It's still the whole visa thing that's holding me up, because it will cost like $3,000 in the end and take half a year to get that visa. Titus Barker, the first Seattle model was the Cedrux. The Chosen One, I have to check those out, but always with names right now, I can't shoot them immediately. I probably have to do like a new, what's it called? Spotify playlist. Hack a didgeridoo, always good. Dave Cole, it can take like a week. For example, like the Hate Loops video that took a week, and or it can take can take 1 day, like the travel video where I go to the OEM parts video. That's just a day, but it can sometimes it takes really long, and especially like for one of the videos I'm putting up next week, the music took 2 days alone to make because I got lost in creating the music for the episode. The last module that I got is the vector sequencer from, because I love numerology, and this is the vector sequencer from 512 Inc., and I just love it. It's great. Brennan Wheel, I used the Digitect on my last album, so that's there. And but and I've got the Digitone, which I enjoy, but I've never really, and I would love an original mono machine. They were super cool, but I simply never had the money, and then I got into um, modular, and that took all my money away. I don't remember how I got into Psy Records actually. How did we meet up at Jogging House? I think we played together. We exchanged tapes and made music together, and I don't know. I can't. Maybe no. Callum, thank you very much. I'll have a beer. Thank you very much. Or I'll have a glass of wine, and later maybe I'll have a beer. Thank you very much. Vicky Banier, it's not a P3, it's an 001 or 03, and those take 6 months. That's a performance visa for performance artist. Martin Moll of Wintergard, I haven't considered, I don't know him. Matt Paul, I think Amulets is in the stream. You might want to ask him. I mean, nice. Oh, Belgium. Oh, yeah, just for the beer I have to come. Good to have you back. Sounds for Xylf. Does IBB blog? Yep, there's also a PAR boxcar integrator coming, which is gonna be crazy. I'm gonna make a video on those definitely. Good sound, good sound for you, Xylef. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the 10 euro. Are your headphones K27s? They are no, they're K271s. I have the K7012, but I love the silver look on them, and I wanted to look good on the stream. Just vanity in that regard. But I also love these because they're indestructible. Oh, Digitone is great. I agree, Bruno Build. And Mono Machine, yes, I remember. Klavitzepps, what kind of beer do you like? I mean, I love the beer that comes like in all these small breweries in Franken. They're beautiful. I love those. But regularly I drink Jever because it's the one that I can drink without. Yeah, and it it tastes so strict, but it has the least headache for me. Options paralysis. No, not really, because I think about what I want to use before I make the music, because the first step for me in composition is to think of the instruments, and I put them together in my head, and then I hear the music, and then I start working on the music. I've got Notepad, Edna's Disco Machine. I'm allergic to cats, sadly. That was really sucky for me to discover, because I lived with cats and then I somehow became allergic in later years. Randall Bone, any more Magic Smoke? No, happily it's not since about 2.5 months, luckily. But more stuff broke. I've got horrible stuff that broke. Geir Jensen, Yawning Hyena? I don't know him. Ah, yes, that was the lime chord, the lamb. I remember that sound. That looked a bit like those Roland thingies, like the Iras. Of course I know Fürstenberg. Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so generous. And yeah, we'll probably see each other then in Toronto. Of course. Vikramit Banerjee, I haven't, because I was always looking for the perfect Geiger counter that had a trigger out. So I haven't bought a Geiger counter. Favorite video game soundtrack? Nicolas Saber. I'd have to say Undertale. Undertale just That's one of the last games that I actually had a bit of time playing and fun. And just loved the soundtrack. But I watched Let's Plays to listen to the soundtrack. Oh, Störtebeker Atlantic Ale. Yes, Störtebeker is extremely good. I love Störtebeker ever since we visited the city 2 times where they're made, and Stralsund, and I always loved drinking. I discovered it there. Amulets and Gemini Horror should do a 3-way collab. Yeah, yeah. Amulets and me have got a collaborative album in the works since 2 years now, and it's just on the way. Oh, good that I got right, Randall. How much feedback? Oh, there was so much feedback, and most of it positive. That was really a surprise for me how positive the feedback was. Everybody, so many people commented on that really warmed my heart. And the creators that were in it, they also loved it. So I think this felt like, of all the things that I've done on YouTube, this felt like one of the things that had the most value to me. Like it had like more to it. Fez Claviceps, yeah, that's a cool one. I've heard, also heard that in on Let's Plays. Uh, yes, amulets, yeah, but I know how life is. It gets in the way of finishing stuff sometimes. Mm. Omri Cone, let me put it this way. I've got how many tape machines? I've got 3 Nagras, 1 Uher, 1 Telefunken, and 2 miscellaneous tape machines now. And I've got 1, 2, 3 cases of modular and a wall of test equipment. It's all pretty addictive once you found like the sound you're looking for, and then you just try to make it better and better and better. Oh, Vikramjit, I have, but I'm not gonna share. But if you want to listen to like the stuff, my pop band that I had in the 2000s, it's called The Dance Inc. with a dot behind that. So The Dance Incorporated, and there should be some videos on YouTube where you see me jumping up and down behind a Juno keyboard that's not plugged in because it's a video band. It's a band shoot. Oh, but see, Grimly Ghost. Ah, the C64. Oh, yes. No, that's Sam makes beautiful videos with the C64 and Dr. Mix too, and I really enjoy them. But you have to choose where you spend your time, and I'd always love the SID chip and the sound of it. I adore that sound, but I've discovered something similar to it, and maybe even more varied in the Seattle Lombardo Coco Quantas. My guilty pleasure, Rod Pop Records. That's. I'm not gonna sing it. Maybe tonight. Okay, I can. It's a live stream, right? Jam on, cause Backstreet's got it. We've got it going on for yeah. So probably Swedish produced American pop music. What do you think you'd be doing with life if you weren't into music? Frankly, I've got no idea. Since I decided when I was 15 that was what I was gonna do, I haven't thought about real alternatives. Does ABB block? I don't know. This is fun. I could do it more often. So uh, it is actually fun. I just need to find like a good topic to generally talk. Matt Paul, it was very organic. There was no big promotion phase. I just started. The one thing that I did was to to make Instagram like a job. So to post one thing every day and make it look good and sound good. So that was the only thing I ever did promotion wise, and that had massive effect. Because it came at the same time that SoundCloud was pretty much dead, especially for experimental music. And I think many experimental modular tape musicians migrated to Instagram, and we found each other there. And that was lovely because suddenly you had a community in something that is like a vanity platform in the end, but it became a platform for experimental music artists to get together. Bang Gangster. My full time day job is composing for theater, but that's also really not a day job, except I started 9 in the morning and yeah, but that's not, it's like I have got like commissions that I do, like 3 or 4 theater plays. And yeah, now I've started doing more film. Dude, are you a welder? Oh god. Rob Hoyt, I right now I can't commit to any more collaborations. I'm struggling to fulfill the ones that I have right now with people right here in Berlin. Yes, I mean, of course, Turrican 2. Ah, that is something. Of course, yeah, that's like the absolute best soundtrack. Chris Hülsbeck, that soundtrack is crazy. Oh yes, I've heard about the Destination Loop, Peter Koenig, of course. The kids have been. We're in Berlin, so the kids can go to kindergarten from 1, and then they're at school. So basically, I work. I take them to school or kindergarten, and then I work, and then I take them to bed. And I just brought them to bed before this, and then I write music. So if we weren't doing this, I would be working on a new piece. Miguel Santos. I think that's something Matthew Herbert already did. The album is called Bodily Functions. He made a dance album, not an ambient album. But right now, the idea doesn't strike me as something I really want to do. Maybe. So I'll give that a maybe. Yeah, the OP1 and the toy pianos, the kids love to play them analog weapon. My favorite dirt box. Oh, that's the Princeton Applied Research CR4A. This is crazy. And it's definitely radioactive. Nicolas Server, I love cooking food. I've gotten so bad at it because the aunt of my wife, she's a professional cook and she cooks so well that I completely stopped cooking. And now she's working in a different restaurant far away, so I don't get that nice food, and that sucks. And I need to do more cooking, but my wife is releasing a Greek vegetarian and vegan cookbook next year, so I have all those recipes to try out. Audio quality on YouTube video, do it on Android, then you get stereo. And yeah. Daniel, creative blocks, it's been like past. I never had these before. I had these before, but not anymore, simply because I have to make so much that it's not an option, so it doesn't come up. Squirewolf, check Echtzeitmusik, the calendar. It's called Echtzeitmusik. There are some good recommendations there. I mix my output from the mixer onto a Telefunken M15 tape machine, and from that, after tape, I go into Ableton Live. Fernando. Bye, Project Null. Bye, Matt Paul. Thank you. Yes, Laurie Lon, that would be cool, but the thing is, like, to get like the documentation for those things is really hard. I made one video where I showed the composition process and I talk a bit more about it. It's called Composing for Theater on a Modular or something, and that could be an interesting view. The colored tape, that was boredom. I was at a theater rehearsal and there was this tape lying around, and there was a long discussion, and I just started messing with the tape on the OP1 Lego Faman. Local technique. Yeah, you found it? Okay, yeah. Show it to okay, yeah. Yes. What was the band or musician that got you really into music? I think it was basically not a it was John Peel on the radio. When I first heard that, like it was my lifeline. It was something completely new, and I didn't know what I was hearing, and that opened up my ears. Uh, GC Roscoe, it probably will be able to save it, and I might do that if it looks anyway good. Um, Darren plays. I think because people know how I work, they don't. They know and they want that sound. I tell them changes are hard, and they accept that. So Snoopy Over the Hills. You mean series Netflix that I like to watch? I just watched The Boys. I watched it with Adam when I was in Colorado, and we really loved that and hated it because it's also tough. Everybody's looking now. Don't run to the suburbs. Oh man, I should have. And that's why I shouldn't do these things, because I start talking about stuff that it's not that bad, but I don't know. It's something different from 13 years ago. I only know Niels Fram from. I asked him once about the kind of felt that he uses. So that's the only connection, or the only talk I had with him. Oh, what tips do you have for beginners looking to get into ambient tape music? I've got a whole bunch of tutorials on my channel, so you can watch those. They really work well. Good night, Andre. Analog Weapon, no, I grew up in the Black Forest. Yeah, Agnos, thank you very much. What gear are you looking forward to in the near future? I wanna go Surge some point. I really wanna go more into Surge. I have the Surge touch keyboard, which I adore, and I really wanna do more Surge. Tangerine Dream came much later. That was the music that like my older sister and my cousins listened to, who were all older, so it wasn't cool when I was a kid. So it came much later for me. So, but now I really love it. And actually, like a neighbor of mine, he works for Tangerine Dream, for the Widow, and organizing the band and stuff like that. Phono pollution, yes, the piano. I learned the piano, and I played a lot of Bartok, and Bartok is probably one of my most favorite classical composers. Danielle, yeah, I have to watch Chernobyl, but it's not. I have to buy it probably because it's not. I don't have HBO, so I have to buy it, and it's hard to find time to watch anything. Like I watched when I was in Colorado because there I had time. After like making all day music, it was fine. But here, it's the kids. There's little space for music. Bruno Wiebold, those voices, they're my family running around in the house. Edna's Disco Machine, I have used that. There's a performance of me at the Roland Studio, which is on YouTube, and I found tape that came with my Nagra. Wiking Chat, yeah, Sergeland. I have to become a permanent resident there. Good night, Vikramjit. Thank you for being here. What would we look for that is good but not popular? I mean, there's lots of test equipment that's really cheap. I just bought like this Boolean Care 1022 wobulator for $100. So really much. Analog Weapon, because I've got a series I want to do where I take all these kids tools, like made for like kids toys, like DIY experiments for kids, and I want to build them and explore them. And I've got a hydrophone and a geophone even that I have sitting over there in a shelf, and I'm gonna build it and then I make a video about that. Are there musical genres you will never explore? Well, due to my theater work, I've probably done every genre, and sometimes in a satirical fashion, sometimes in a really meant fashion. So I've went through a lot of genres, probably. Have you tried VR? No, I haven't tried VR, Drums Addict. Only like with this thing they put on you put phone in here and you've got this thing, and that made me nauseous. But probably something interesting would be good. Uh, Nicholas Sauer, Nuremberg, probably sausage and beer. I would say that's the staple there. But maybe anyone else in the chat has good recommendations for Nuremberg. Oh, Brandon. Thank you, Boris. I think that's one of the guys who often comes into these chats, like when I do a premiere. Wow. Thank you very much, Lee Stan, for the $10. Thank you very much. Does water have tape nostalgia in it? I'm not a fan of nostalgia. It's not like a positive. It's not a positive emotion for me. So I like it. It's more like, for me, the thing that I like about tape is that it's dreamlike, and dreams have a logic that's brutal. And when I, for example, play live, I follow that dream logic very hard. That is surreal and abstract, but it has a reality. And when I don't have that feeling that this could be as real as that dream logic, then I stop. WY, I want to be able to build my instrument more up, but the easel's also interesting. Mankey does great stuff with it. I would love that. Listan, wow, thank you. This is overwhelming. I would never thought that I would make money on a live stream. That's really humbling in a way. Thank you. Oh no, the Paradox, I said it, don't record on digital and then process it in tape. Do it differently. Go on tape and then onto the computer, and do your only processing the computer as you want. Just limit the amount of analog to digital, digital to analog conversions that you have to do, because that's the most destructive process. Sketch cassette? No, haven't tried it. Non-expensive reverb. I used Quadraverb. The Quadraverb. Good gear that's cheap and good. The Quadraverb. Any unit, like, is great. Just get Quadraverbs. Buy all the Quadraverbs. They're super nice. So, and of course, else all the... Oh, hi, Hosa. How you doing? Nice to hear you. Still using your cables. Thank you. And nice plugins, of course, in the DAW. I love Valhalla. Just perfect. Marcel Proust, yeah. Stan. Okay, now I know who you are. It's okay. Thank you very much. Oh, $14.99. Wow. Thank you very much. Transit on the internet. No yet. I've compiled like a bunch of albums with tracks from that, but I have about 150 unreleased, maybe that's even more, unreleased tracks that I would love to release, and I'm sitting on 2 albums that I haven't released, especially from my modular period, and I have to basically do a modular works album at some point. So yeah. Oh, is it too quiet? Is it too quiet, the album? I can make it louder, because I had it louder in the first playthrough. I'll make it a bit louder. Frontman 242. Yes, Alice's Nanowarp. Super good. Okay, Okay, I will make this available. I will make this available if it doesn't look super crappy. Else I'll make a private link and I'll post it in the, what's it called? In the subreddit. Yes? So then you'll have access to it all. Piping Crow, I'd love to play in real life the Cloud Chamber Balls by Harry Parch. Favorite music related YouTubers? Of course, Gaz Williams, because he's one of the funniest guys ever. Simon, Look No Computer, of course, because they're all friends now and I love the energy that they put into things. Amulets, Andrew Huang, he's such a hum person and trying to push all the time. And Jeremy Redwing's recording, and Noir for his beautiful production style and calm delivery, which is very good. So these are just some I probably forgot, some that right now, this is top of my head right now. Yeah. Thank you, Gerald. Luca, thank you very much for the €5. Cool. Daniel, I have to check that out, Sketch Cassette. Thank you for the tip. Moonboop, thanks. That's Moon Pupe. Pupe? Pupe? Poop? Moon Pupe. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, that's nice to hear. So we're almost nearing the end of the second playthrough of this. So it might be time to end this. Oh, I'm breaking up? Okay, I was wondering why the connections were. Why couldn't see less? Florent, no, I haven't met him yet, Analog Weapon. Sound is breaking up? Ah. Think of it like a story you're walking through, and think of it as a sort as a. Oftentimes, songs are more like short stories, so you start already in the action, and then you move through it, and then you have kind of a surprise, and then you end it, and the way you end it is important. Like, is it something that is supposed to last for a long time, so then you can just get away with a fade out, or is it something where you want to say, okay, bam, this is finished, damn. So approach it like a short story maybe, and there are good books on narrative writing that you can apply to music. Mike Dubs, a third play? I don't know if I can do that. It's getting late here, and I have to get up really early tomorrow. Yeah. Kupka. Ah, hi. Nice to see you again. Oh, I actually don't know if I recorded that. I'll have to check. Write me, and I'll see if I can find it. Seselberg. I've heard that, but I've heard that, but I didn't know that they composed for theater. Pictures 2 frames per second. Oh, okay. YouTube has got its priorities right, at least. Streaming is auto-destructing. Okay, well, I think then we leave it at this here. I've got no idea why the streaming is not working. I plugged in the LAN cable, but maybe it's everybody watching Netflix now here in the house. And for the next stream, I'll have to check why it's not the usual high frames per second that I get here. It's not late. It is late for getting up at 6. Oh, cool. So I'm just gonna say thank you all very much for watching and sharing this with me. This was a great experience, and I think I'll figure out a way to do this again with less technical difficulties. And yeah, I think that's a good idea to do. Oh, Stockhausen, yeah. So yeah, I think I'll do this more. I think this was fun for me, and if it's fun, it's worth doing. Yeah. If you haven't already, yeah, the new album. Thank you very much, Blaze Bailey Finnegan, and thank you much for the 5 Canadian. If you haven't already, check this album out. And if you noticed, I tried to match the lighting today to the cover, and only in verse. Um, yeah, so it's available now on xylerecords.bandcamp.com. The link is in the description. And yeah, thank you all for being here. And I wish you a good night. Okay, last questions. Okay, 3 last questions. Ethan Woods, video that changed things. I think the biggest change was the video that I did on the Saddest Drone Machine, and that was the one that pushed the channel from like 1,700 to 35,000, and that was probably the biggest video. But else, it's grown very naturally and organically. All right. See you, everybody. And yeah, have a good night until the next one.